All right, beautiful day, beautiful day, beautiful day. It's gorgeous out. It's gorgeous all around us. Pay attention to the small things. It's one of the messages I'm going to carry into this that it was pointed out to me in some conversations I had today and the wonderful team I have around me. And what a doozy of a lesson we have today. I told you yesterday, or in the last video, not yesterday, whatever day it was, that this next lesson, 137, not that they're not all great, this one was going to be just a doozy. Just so much power in this lesson. At least for me, there was. So I want to share it with you. Oh my gosh. So much coming through. I mean, so much happening. So much abundance. So much, it's all around all the time. We just have to be tuned into it. We just have to be, not tuning into what is, tuning into God, tuning into love, tuning into Holy Spirit, tuning into the universe, tuning into nature, and tuning out ego and tuning out judgment, and like yesterday's lesson, tuning out, attack thoughts, tuning out making plans for uncertainty, certainties to come. That was that little sentence was such a massive shift for me yesterday. It was so helpful. I'm like, this is so key in my life to see, to speak of this, to see this, making plans for uncertainties to come. How insane of a thought, how of an insane thing to do, right? That's anxiety, that's panic, that's control. That's being a control freak. You don't need none of these things when you're tuned in. The universe will support you. The puzzle pieces will fall into place. The mystery clues will be filled in. I've over the past, at least, like I said, I've been really working on myself for the past decade. Over the past year and a half, 2 years, really starting to be it, right? Not just to study it, know it. Okay, I'm preparing myself, but living into it and being it. So let's just go ahead and move right into the lesson. Try to keep this book nice and high. I love wearing hats. I just love hats and stuff. And, I need to come on to the channel, without it and stuff. But so I keep the book high here so I don't have to look down too low and so you can see me still. But this is just the way I'm going to do it. I like it this way till I change it or feel like there needs to be a change. The message is what's more important to me. I don't even care if I get on here, my beard's unshaved, whatever. Who cares? The message is it. Lesson 137. When I'm healed, I'm not healed alone. Paragraph 1. Today's idea remains the central thought on which salvation rests. For healing is the opposite of all the world's ideas which dwell on sickness and on separate states. Sickness is a retreat from others and a shutting off of joining. It becomes a door that closes on a separate self and keeps it isolated and alone. So sickness is a defense from healing, a defense from truth. You play into it. It goes right along with victimhood. Oh, this ache, this pain, I can't do it. I can't do that today, or I can't. The ego and the defenses and these false beliefs, this false identity we've created keeps us from connecting to source, connecting to the other pieces of source that are all around you, all beings, all the things in nature, other humans. It blocks you from this. For healing, listen to this. This second sentence. For healing is the opposite of all the world's ideas which dwell on sickness and on separate states. Healing is the opposite of what, a lot of people, like I just see it everywhere. We've just been really tricked, mind controlled, programmed, conditioned. I mean, we've just been dragged. We've been disconnected is probably a great word to use. So let's move on to paragraph 2. Sickness is isolation, right? When I feel sick, when I was doing this to myself, I was isolating. The more, and this was another great point. I don't know if I made it on here or not in another video, but I'm going to point it out again because it doesn't matter. It's powerful. I know there's people out here that will relate to this. When I am feeling when I would feel, because I'm no longer identifying with this. You're watching me right now act and be this, right? This has just been a matter of days. It's been a powerful shift just in a matter of the past couple of days of my life. So, when I do this, I'm on this thing right here that I'm talking to right now, this device. I'm not on it as much when I'm connected. I just, when I'm not though, when I'm playing victim, when I'm in sickness, when I'm playing into this and believing the false stories and the charades and the stories and everything, that false beliefs, the false identity, I'm looking for something through it because I'm scared, or I'm basically scared to go out and connect other ways. This has been the story of my life. And I wanted to reiterate, this channel is for anyone that wants to come here. There's no whatever. But the people that really have experienced the darkness, and I think if the dark, depressed states of isolation and feeling so separate, it's bullshit. And I think if any human got really honest with themselves and you had a really honest conversation with them, I think we've all experienced. I think we all have our own unique version of this. I know now that it was an absolute gift to be taken to the depths of the darkness and depression things that I experienced. Even the anxiety on the other side, right? So let's move on. Sickness is isolation, for it seems to keep oneself apart from all the rest, to suffer what the others do not feel, right? Oh, I'm sick, but nobody else experiences this. This goes, I can't, as I'm reading this, I'm like, this goes right with victimhood. Sick. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, poor me. Nobody else has it like I do. Bullshit. For it seems to keep oneself apart from all the rest, to suffer what the others do not feel. It gives the body final power to make the separation real and keep the mind in solitary prison, split apart and held into pieces by a solid wall of sickened flesh, which it cannot surmount. Paragraph 3. The world obeys the laws that sickness serves. The world, right? Not speaking of, well, let me move on here before I say. The world obeys the laws that sickness serves, but healing operates apart from them, right? So the world we're used to, anyone that's been living within the last 100 years, we'll just leave it there. I believe this has been going on for thousands of years, but we'll just say 100 years. Anybody that's lived in the last 100 years has fallen victim to this, right? Has believed in a story. I won't even go into the depth of the lives I've shared before. The lies are so big, people don't believe them. Or is that how the lie is so big that people won't believe they're actually lie. It's not the truth about things. So many things. I could go down a laundry list of things that, whatever you want to call it out there, the system, like I made a video about, perpetuates, throws gasoline on the fire, enables people to be in this. You want to talk about the whole pharmaceutical industry, the whole meds. I was on antidepressants and anti-anxiety, that whole stuff. I have an experience of being that person. So now growing out of that person and becoming someone that doesn't need those things over the past years of my life, I have the ability, and I've qualified myself to now help the person that's there understand and see the truth of the world, the truth in it. And this course goes right along with it. It's amazing. It is impossible that anyone be healed alone. In sickness, must he be apart and separate. But healing is his own decision to be one again. So you're deciding to stay fragmented. You're deciding to stay separate and isolated when you believe these sicknesses are real. But healing is its own decision to be one again, whole again, connected again, love, and to accept his self with all its parts intact and unassailed. In sickness does his self appear to be dismembered, and without the unity that gives it life. There's that word unity. It's all that is. All that exists. You know, I had a friend say this to me today. I'm gonna share this as well because I thought it's powerful. All that exists is unity, love, God. All that is, the nature, all these terms that I always throw out there in all my videos. Heaven. There is no hell. Every single being goes to, is heaven. It's heaven. You know, you might say, oh my gosh, these terrible people out there that do these all atrocious things. There's no way they go to heaven. Yeah, because God is love. That's all it knows. That's all it is. It can't hate. It can't punish. It doesn't. It doesn't do those things. Because people don't understand that they're just disconnected. If they would connect, they wouldn't do those things. Sin doesn't exist in God's world, in this world of love and connection. We don't need the law. We don't need the legal system. We don't need any of that. If humans would just follow this, they wouldn't want to follow anything else once they feel what it feels like. But healing is accomplished as he sees the body has no power to attack the universal oneness of God's Son. Paragraph 4. Sickness would prove that lies must be the truth. But healing demonstrates the truth is true. The separation sickness would impose has never really happened. To be healed is merely to accept what always was the simple truth and always will remain exactly as it has forever been. Yet eyes accustomed to illusions, so we get used to these illusions, we get programmed to these illusions, we get addicted to these illusions. Yet eyes accustomed to illusions must be shown that what they look upon is false. Once that happens and once that shift happens, I guess I've heard people's stories where it's a overnight mirror. It's just like, boom. For me, it's been this just kind of gradual pick this. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, all right. Okay. Yeah. And then it's like that. Like I talked about this peak and valley rock, this roller coaster ride. Just hang in there. The miracle is closer than you think. So healing, never needed by the truth, must demonstrate that sickness is not real. So this is something that I shared with a friend too. We have to experience, we have to let go and do these things. You have to go ahead and say, you know what? I don't believe what this guy's saying. I don't believe this course. I don't believe any of this. Let go and just try it. Say, I'm going to take the next year of my life and say, you know what? I'm going to prove this wrong. Do it. Because I guarantee you, well, I'm thinking, do it with openness, unbiased, not going in and say, I'm not believing in blah, 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 and just do it, right? Because then, yeah, of course, it has to do with everything, all the beliefs and everything inside your ears and in your mind. So you have to, basically that last sentence saying you have to experience it. And that is exactly true to me. That's what this is all about. Experiencing life. Not being dictated to from some authority figure or, things like the government and them telling you how to live your lives and what to do. That's just garbage. You're never going to live happy that way. It's always going to be in a fear state. It's always going to be, it's always going to be lies and illusion. They don't exist if we get into this independence and godlike and love and everything that we are and more that we haven't even tapped into yet. Paragraph 5, healing might thus be called a counter dream, which cancels out the dream of sickness in the name of truth, but in truth itself. Just as forgiveness overlooks all sins that never were accomplished. There it is right there, right? It's going back to previous lessons, telling you forgiveness overlooks all sins. The sins weren't really real as long as if you would have just stayed in forgiveness and stayed in the state that you were created in. Healing but removes illusions that have not occurred. Just as the real world will arise to take the place of what has never been at all. The real world. There's a world and there's a real world. Healing but offers restitution for imagined states and false ideas which dreams embroider into pictures of the truth. Paragraph 6. Yet think not healing is unworthy of your function here. For Antichrist becomes more powerful than Christ to those who dream the world is real. The body seems to be more solid and more stable than the mind, and love becomes a dream, while fear remains one reality that can be seen and justified and fully understood. There's your love and fear. You could call that heaven and hell. You could call that God and Satan, God and darkness. Paragraph 7, just as forgiveness shines away all sin and the real world will occupy the place of what you made, so healing must replace the fantasies of sickness which you hold before the simple truth. When sickness has been seen to disappear in spite of all the laws that hold it cannot be real, then questions have been answered, and the laws can be no longer cherished nor obeyed. Paragraph 8, healing is freedom. There was right here, back here. What was the one paragraph started off with? Sickness is isolation. Boom, 3 powerful words to start off a paragraph. Here's healing is freedom. For it demonstrates that dreams will not prevail against the truth. Healing is shared. And by this attribute, it proves that laws, unlike the ones which hold that sickness is inevitable, are more potent than they are sickly opposites. Healing is strength. For by its gentle hand is weakness overcome. Let me finish the paragraph. For by its gentle hand is weakness overcome, and minds that were walled off within a body free to join with other minds to be forever strong. It uses the term weak in here, and I used to question this, right? Back in the day, I used to always think, well, am I just weak? What's going on here and all this? And you know what? I have to come to the absolute truth and just realization and get real with myself. And yeah, when you're in this state, believing these things, which most people are, that sickness and all, that's exactly what these lessons are sharing, that you are weak-minded at that point. You're wrong-minded, you're weak-minded, you're believing in something that isn't real. It's okay to admit that. It's okay to have strengths and weaknesses. Because I've heard other people speak, that's not a good way to put, people aren't weak or, whatever. That right there, that was one thing I used to get hung up on and concerned with. Is this me? And it was. But I didn't want to admit that. The ego was like, no, don't go there, man. Don't do that. So, paragraph 9, healing, forgiveness, and the glad exchange of all the world of sorrow for a world where sadness cannot enter, or the means by which the Holy Spirit urges you to follow him. So, if you stay in this state, if you stay connected, no matter what's coming in, you say, nope, transmute and that doesn't belong here anymore. And this is something I can share. I actually share on this. I had this thought this morning. I was outside and I'm losing my train of thought of what I was just going to share. What was it? Let me read this again and maybe it'll come back for me. Healing, forgiveness, and the glad exchange of all the world of sorrow for a world where sadness cannot enter, are the means by which the Holy Spirit urges you to follow him. Sadness, I'll just share what was coming in. So, I keep losing it. What's going on here? Healing, forgiveness, and the glad exchange of all the world of sorrow for a world where sadness cannot enter, are the means by which the Holy Spirit urges you to follow him. Oh, that's what it was. I knew it would come back. I have these lately. When I have these massive shifts happen in my life, be prepared for the other side to get a little stronger at times. To really send some stuff to you, be like, where did that come from? Oh man, what? So it really just kind of having its tantrum, that sickness, that illusion, that ego, that darkness, that stuff that you believed in for so long is really going to throw a tantrum. I'm just sharing what's happened for me. So just be on guard, pay attention, be diligent, be relentless with this. His gentle lessons teach how easily salvation can be yours, how little practice you need undertake to let his laws replace the ones you made to hold yourself a prisoner to death. His life becomes your own as you extend the little help he asks in freeing you from everything that ever caused you pain. it's going to get more. I think it goes into this a little bit more about what this course is asking you in the illusion of time here, what it's asking you to do and what you receive, ain't even close. So I think it gets into that. So we'll move forward. Paragraph 10. And as you let yourself be healed, you see all those around you, or who cross your mind, or whom you touch, or those who seem to have no contact with you, healed along with you, right? So that could be somebody watching this video that I never even come in contact with. This stuff might change their lives. This course becomes aware. Through this channel, they became aware of the Course of Miracles. I may never even know that, or I may go out and know that I'm touching these lives. I may have that, and I know we're all going to receive that. We're all going to receive it back as far as knowing the impact that you make on people when you share it, when you show up in this way. People can feel it. Perhaps you will not recognize them all, nor realize how great you're offering to all the world when you let healing come to you. But you are never healed alone. And legions upon legions will receive the gift that you receive when you are healed. Paragraph 11. Those who are healed become the instruments of healing. Nor does time elapse between the instant they are healed and all the grace of healing it is given them to give. What is opposed to God does not exist. I kind of just talked about that a little earlier. And who accepts it not within his mind becomes a haven where the weary can remain to rest. And this was something I was talking to a friend about. Let me finish the last sentence. For here is the truth bestowed, and here are all illusions brought to truth. So, we were talking about how, we're just maybe a little sad for people that don't tap into this, don't get out of it. And I'm like, well, I'm not here to say what roles people are here to play. I'm just here to show up what role I've found to play, or I've been guided to play. And so, it's not about, it's just about showing up what you were supposed to do. If those people are ready, or it's their path, then beautiful. If not, beautiful. Either way, it's beautiful. Doesn't matter. I feel like there was more I wanted to say there, but I'm not quite getting it all out, I don't think. Where was that sentence at? Right here. What is opposed to God does not exist, and who accepts it not within his mind becomes a haven where the weary can remain to rest. So when you're not accepting this, when you're not getting out of the way, when you're not tapping into this, when you're not connecting to this, you become a center of, you could say, it says weary here, you could say weak, you could say different things, you could say different terms to label it. But I was done being a portal for that. I was done being, I shared about that. I was done being a house, a host for the parasite, for the energy draining other side of things that really doesn't even exist, because all that exists is God. But we create this. We believe this kind of thing. So, okay, moving on. Paragraph 12. Would you not offer shelter to God's will? You but invite yourself to be at home. And can this invitation be refused? Ask the inevitable to occur, and you will never fail. The other choice is but to ask what cannot be to be, and this cannot succeed. Today we ask that only truth will occupy our minds. Man, how powerful is that right there? We ask that only truth occupies our minds. So when this stuff starts coming in, it's up to you to receive it. It's up to you to live into it. It's up to you to be it. You block it out, you go the other direction, you play small. It's just, all it's going to do, you're just going to continue living in that cycle of suffering, that cycle of pain, that cycle of illusional living, delusional, crazy, insaneness. Today, we ask that only truth will occupy our minds, that thoughts of healing will this day go forth from what is healed to what must yet be healed, aware that they will both occur as one. Paragraph 13, we will remember as the hour strikes, our function is to let our minds be healed. It says an hour in here. I'm talking moment to moment. That we may carry healing to the world, exchanging curse for blessing. Here we go, right here. This is powerful right here. We're exchanging curse for blessing, pain for joy, and separation for the peace of God. Is not a minute of the hour worth the giving to receive a gift like this? Is not a little time a small expense to offer for the gift of everything? Paragraph 14. Yet must we be prepared for such a gift. And so we will begin the day with this and give 10 minutes to these thoughts, with which we will conclude today at night as well. So you could do this morning and night. 10 minutes. I think it asks 15 minutes sometimes. Whatever. I just let the course speak for itself. Here's the prayer. Here's a little kind of, it has like a, in italics, the prayer. That's how it has it in the book. When I'm healed, I'm not healed alone. And I would share my healing with the world, that sickness may be banished from the mind of God's one Son, who is my only self. Paragraph 15. Let healing be through you this very day. And as you rest in quiet, be prepared to give as you receive. To hold but what you give, and to receive the word of God, to take the place of all the foolish thoughts that ever were imagined. Now we come together to make well all that was sick, and offer blessing where there was attack. Nor will we let this function be forgot as every hour of the day slips by, remembering our purpose with this thought. When I'm healed, I'm not healed alone. And I would bless my brothers and sisters, I'll add, for I would be healed with them as they are healed with me. God bless. End of lesson. So I want to start giving a sneak peek into the next lesson at the end of each one. So lesson 138. Heaven is the decision I must make, is the next lesson. So I can't wait to dig into that one. I'll be doing this one again tonight first. And I just can't say enough about this course, obviously. I wouldn't be doing all this if I didn't think it was extremely powerful and true. So as always, I'm coming from a place of unconditional love. I am just doing everything that I can to tap into what is so that I become more of that. I've never felt so high on life. I've never felt, I shared this with a friend of mine. I said to him when I was like going through a lot of stuff and really not understand, really just in that valley and in that depression and darkness, that's necessary, that's perfect. I would share with him, all right, so I haven't done this too many times and I'm kind of new to the whole editing thing, but like I had in the video that I already made, I got to the end and I was mentioning something about a conversation I was having with a friend, and then I kind of drew a blank and kind of lost it. And, I get excited and I have a lot of things flowing through my head and stuff like that. So I lost track of what I wanted to say, but I remembered and I wanted to come back on and make an edit or add this, just make this new ending to the video. So I was talking about how I was talking to a friend and I was talking about how, reminiscing and reflecting back on life and things and how I used to be in these down and out depressive states and using, alcohol to kind of get through life, alcohol to really enjoy life, quote unquote, enjoy, quote unquote, to be happy because, I really wasn't. And that's why the alcohol was involved, because remove the alcohol and then the stuff comes up that I really needed to process and understand and all. And that's just how things happen. But I was sharing with him, I was out and about and he sent me this song to listen to. I had never heard it before, and I've been, he's been sharing that stuff with me, and I need new music in my life because I can't stress to you enough how I lived before and how I'm living now. and how that's possible for the people out there that are kind of can relate to that, right? The people, I thought about this earlier, people sitting on a bar stool. There's people doing it right now, sitting on bar stools, and that's just one thing that I relate to and how I handled things in my life. But I was sharing with him how, and I had said this at the end of the video, and you'll hear this, and I'll put this piece on the end. And I said how I felt so high on life. And I was driving, and I was out in the country, and I love being out in the country, and I love when you have these open roads, and you see farm animals and farms, and you just open space, and I'm driving, and I have this song on, and I never felt, I don't think ever in my life I felt freer than that point in time in my life. Because of what's happening and everything that's inside the course and the realizations of what really is and the connection. I don't know if I've ever felt that free before in my life. And that was what I was trying to remember and share. And I wanted to say that I was drunk on life, not drunk on alcohol, not needing something outside of me like that to make me feel that way. I was drunk on life, high on life. And I shared that with him, and I wanted to share that on here with anybody that watches this. That was kind of what I was sharing at the end, and I just kind of forgot. So I already mentioned, a couple of key things I always like to mention at the end of the videos is like I'm working towards a state of unconditional love. We are the miracle, and heaven on earth, it's here. We just forgot. We've been disconnected, and I really want to see us get back to this state, get back to this way of living. It definitely can happen. There's no doubt about that. So anyway, I think that's it. That's all out of me. I gave an intro. I gave at the end, before I already gave a preview into the next lesson. So I'll be excited to share that with you next time. So anyway, God, love, universe, all that is, take it in. It's always there. Even if you don't think it is, even if you're not feeling that way, it's there. It's there. So I'm out of here. Till next time. God bless.